single question change your life? Tonight, we welcome the fiercely grounded and deeply inclusive Megan MacKenzie, a transformational coach, writer, and hypnobreathwork guide who turned deep grief into conscious awakening. Living simply in a tiny New Hampshire cabin, Megan teaches others that asking better questions can unlock clarity, connection, and calm. This conversation is about awareness, not as a buzzword, but as a healing force. So, take a breath. This is where inner peace begins. Now, Megan, what was the first better question that shifted your healing journey after such deep personal loss?
I love that you said awareness, and that's really it. My story begins when I was 12, and both my parents had committed suicide. Um, so my father, when I was 12, committed suicide, and my brilliant cousin had stepped in, and he taught me things like Leonardo da Vinci and Shakespeare and sacred geometry, and he taught me how to think, how to ask questions. I started to ask these deeper, more meaningful questions about myself and the world around me and life. And that awareness, those questions brought awareness and great insight and healing and growth into my world. And that's what I share with people.
Mm-hmm. So, how did that question reshape the way you related to grief and yourself?
Can you repeat that question again, honey?
Yeah, sure. How did that question reshape the way you related to grief and yourself?
How did it reshape the way I grieve? Questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Um, it brought me deeper into myself. Like, a better question provides better answers, better insights. So instead of just asking like, did he love me? Why did this happen? Um, questions that kept me stuck in my grief, right? Stuck in this loop within my mind. My cousin or myself, we started to ask just deeper questions that broadened my awareness. So like questions like, uh, what can I make of this? Right? Like how can I connect deeper to myself, deeper to life itself so that I don't end up making the same mistakes that he did, which has put me on this incredible journey of just discovering myself and life.
Mm-hmm. It's really powerful how a well-timed question doesn't, just open the mind, it cracks open the heart, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think we are so afraid to ask ourselves the hard questions even when we crave the truth?
That's a really good question. I think part of it is because when we are in like grief or in any sort of pain or hard circumstances, we get dialed in, we kind of get stuck, and we have these mind loops where like the worry, the fears, the old programmings, they get stuck in our head, and we can't see outside of the box that we put ourselves in. So it may not even be that we're fearful of it. We just may not be able to access different questions to give us that like aha, that epiphany, right? The moment where um, a different question comes in and we can shift our perspective. I think that's what that is.
Mm-hmm. So how do you guide people through the discomfort that often, follows real awareness?
Yeah. First and foremost, honey, we just sit and we're present. It's so important to just feel where you're at and allow yourself to experience the pain, the grief, the suffering, whatever it is that you're going through. Feel it in the body, pay attention to the mind. And then um so I my work is either through like my coaching 101 with questions, or I put you in a state, an altered state through HypnoBreathwork, where we can access the deeper parts of your mind. And then I'm going to pose questions to you that you would have never even thought of thinking, right? So I'm going to come in as an outside source where like I'm outside of your paradigm. I'm outside of the walls that you've put yourself in to shift your awareness, to open you up to greater ways of thinking and being. And then you gain greater insight into yourself. And it's a really beautiful experience. I love watching people they transform just in a matter of moments. You can just see that like the clarity, the light like click on inside their head. It's beautiful.
Hmm? It's like we know the truth is under the surface, but fear makes the water murky, right?
Yes.
Now, you work with hypnobreathwork. So, how does this help people bypass mental noise and access that inner wisdom more directly?
Yes. This is brilliant. I absolutely love this practice. This is something I have been looking for decades. Something this effective, this efficient, something that truly like delivers on its promise, right? I kind of just stumbled upon it. It was my cousin's best friend is the founder of HypnoBreathwork, and she introduced me to this work, and I was like, "This is it." So, with the breath, we're we can get into these altered states through like meditation or chanting, and especially in like the modern Western world, that is very difficult for us to just sit still long enough for our state to alter and alter it long enough where we can access the information. So breath work is so effective and so efficient at altering your state of mind and helping you drop into your subconscious where all of the answers, the intuition, the old programming lies. And once you're in that altered state, then I can start asking you questions and you're able to get deeper insight, more clarity than you could otherwise just, in your regular state of being. You're able to just go a lot deeper and it's incredibly effective.
Hmm. So, is there a breathwork movement that felt like a full body revelation for you or a client?
Can you repeat that one more time, honey?
Yeah, sure. Is there a breathwork moment that felt like a full body revelation for you or a client?
I think I understand what you're saying. You have this beautiful, sweet voice and this accent. One more time for me.
Yeah, sure, why not? Is there a breathwork moment that felt, like a full body revelation for you or a client?
Okay.
Hmm.
Is there like a breathwork moment, like a revelation that I've experienced or clients experienced?
Hmm.
Uh, Almost every time. It's just foolproof. You'll just the oxygen, once it starts moving throughout the body, it's inevitable. Like you will go into these altered states and the body holds all of our, our traumas and our hopes and dreams. It's all stored in the body. So it's not just the mind that's being released, it's everything is being released in the body as well. So people have these incredible experiences where their body shakes or their hands tighten and they release the emotions that have been stuck and stored. And that's so important. So we don't have to carry it around anymore.
That connection between breath and truth is ancient, right? And yet, so many of us are only now rediscovering it, no?
I know, it's so interesting, like, breath and light and sound has been around for as longer than we have, right? And, here we are just, like, finally discovering it. It feels like this brand new thing, but it's as old as time, so it's so brilliant that we're coming back to these very ancient, very wise, ways of being.
Absolutely. So, how do you personally use like cushions as a daily tool, or are they go to prompts that keep you grounded?
Yes. So my work specifically, I help people through like the very hard, heavy stuff within a session, but day to day, just throughout your day, this is so important. I call it like micro dosing, micro moments throughout the day. If you're feeling anxious or stressed and like the waves of emotion are coming, just breathe. You just lock into the breath and you can breathe in through the nose and out the mouth. Just grab a hold of your breath and the breath will override your system every time. And you just stay focused on the breath. And then bring your attention to your mind and whatever thoughts you are thinking, if they're negative, if they're defeating, if they're fearful, we just start to shift it to something a little bit more positive. We don't have to go too crazy because then the mind will reject it. Just subtly shift your mindset to something a little safer, a little calmer, a little more positive with the breath. And you stay with that just for a few moments and it overrides your current state. And it's brilliant and it's so easy.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you recommend for someone just starting to journal or self-inquire?
I would recommend just staying still for a moment, just noticing where you're at, how you feel, how's your body, how's your heart, how, like, pay attention to the thoughts in your head, and to be still for a moment and take a deep breath. And I would ask, like, what do you want? Like, where do you want to take your life? Like, where do you want to be? Right. So we're always, we're in this heightened state or depressive state. It's like, okay, you're in you're pausing for a moment, you're present, you take your breath, and then you think a more positive thought. That,
Mm-hmm. I love how you simplify it, Megan. It's not about writing pages, it's about writing real, right?
yes.
Hmm? So, living in nature and minimalism, how has that shaped your relationship with awareness and peace?
It's been an extraordinary ride. I'm so glad, so grateful I have found this practice. It is everything that I've ever wanted and been looking for. Anytime, I'm not immune to any human emotions. I feel them all a lot, but I have this wonderful tool. I have breath work. I have HypnoBreathwork. I have the ability to ask myself really good questions. So anytime I'm feeling off in any sort of way, I can always come back to my breath. I can always come back to asking interesting questions. And those questions typically look like awareness to what's going on and then taking responsibility for how I've showed up and how I've played a role in my life and in the situation that I find myself in. And then how can I slowly start to come back either to myself or to the life that I want?
Hmm? So, do you believe our environment affects the quality of the questions we ask?
The environment affects the questions we ask. Can you clarify a little bit more?
It's like, like, do you believe that the environment it affects the quality of the questions we ask?
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. So, yes, actually, yes, right? Because if we are, yeah, if we're surrounded by an environment that's asking really poor questions that are only like feeding the limiting beliefs and the fear, absolutely. And this is why it's so important to find somebody who is, where you are at, who is established, who has the wisdom to offer fresh insight. That's so important. Yes.
Hmm? Your life feels like a soft rebellion against chaos, Megan, and it's really inspiring.
Thank you, honey.
A heartfelt thanks to you, Megan MacKenzie, for showing us that awareness isn't a destination, it's a gentle daily return to self. And for all our listeners, sometimes peace isn't found in the answers but in the courage to ask better questions. And if it sparks something within, share it with someone who's ready to slow down and listen it. And remember, healing begins the moment we dare to ask differently. Until next time, breathe deeply and live wisely.